So come on in, and there's plenty of seats. It's always the front row, right? Nobody wants, just like yoga class, nobody wants to sit in the front. So yeah, come sit. We're a yoga studio, so if you're comfortable sitting on the floor, on a blanket or a bolster, then do. If not, we can always pull some more chairs out and make some more room. All right, but do have a seat. Please don't stand during the performance. It'll make us really nervous. Or something. There's a couple bolsters right up front here. There's some more. There's plenty right up here. These guys are probably going to sit. So good evening, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to our performance tonight. Welcome to our celebration tonight. Tonight, we celebrate change. The change of the season, the autumn season has really been the inspiration for our movement and our dance. And we know that change is constant, and change itself can be very beautiful, it can be turbulent, it can be inspiring, and it's truly the one thing that we can always, always count on. In fact, the dancers ourselves, we're in the midst of change. While it may look like there's 5 of us, there's actually 7 of us. We have 2 pregnant dancers, and so we just want to put a disclaimer out there. Don't be nervous about that. They're in beautiful shape. They've been dancing since the first day that they were pregnant, and we've been dancing for quite a few months together. And so don't be scared. It's actually really, really beautiful to watch. Our inspiration for dance, we call ourselves the Samadhi Dancers. Samadhi in Sanskrit means freedom or liberation. And so our inspiration for dance is really through the holistic practice of yoga. So we practice, for us it's really more than just the moves themselves, but we practice, because we really like each other and we really like to be together. Our rehearsals are quite interesting. We probably spend about half of our rehearsal time laughing and talking and then say, all right, we got to get down to business. But we share creative movement together, we share our stories together, and we really do have a lot of fun. Our performance tonight tells a story. And it celebrates change. And the yoga poses themselves actually tell stories, and many, many times they celebrate the aspect of change. So we thought that we would share with you, or I would share with you, a few yoga stories about just a couple of postures. Each of the yoga postures, most all of them have some sort of story, some sort of mythical story behind them. And so right now you see the dancers, they're just sort of warming up, doing some moves, using the wall, using the ropes, warming up. And one example of a story is of 3 very strong standing poses known as the Warrior Series. So there's 3 poses. Warrior 1, where the arms are up, it's rising up and out of the ground. Warrior 2, where the arms are wide. And then Warrior 3, where you're standing on leg with the arms spread out in front of you. These 3 poses, although they're all named the warrior pose, they're Virabhadrasana in Sanskrit, they really demonstrate strength and stability. In order to be able to do these poses, you have to be strong and pretty stable. And they also celebrate liberation. But really, the warrior story is a love story. It's a great love story, epic love story. About Shiva and his first wife, Sati. Shiva and Sati were very much in love. It was a cosmic kind of love. They were meant to be together. And like many torrid love stories, Shiva's father did not want, Sati's father, did not want her to marry Shiva. And so in her angst and her sadness and her fury, it is said that she ignited a hot internal flame inside and actually reduced herself to ashes. Shiva, who at the time was out on Mount Kailash, meditating deep in meditation, way apart from Sati, didn't see this, but he felt it. He felt a great disturbance in the universe. And so woke up out of his meditative state, knew in an instant that something had happened to his beloved. And the story goes that he pulled out one of his dreadlocks, he threw it on the ground, it turned into a snake, the snake burrowed down into the earth and rose up right where Sati's ashes lay. And in that instant, when he rose up as the warrior one pose. So everybody said, so he rose up with sword in hand, face looking upward, and then in the second breath, took his arms wide, drew his sword, cut off Sati's father's head, and then in the third pose, bent down, the head was on the floor with his sword, picked up the sword, and placed it on a stake. So, although a bit of a gruesome story, but a serious story, it's interesting to know what lies behind these stories. Like I said, the warrior pose, they require a lot of strength to do them, a lot of integrity, a lot of compassion, a lot of humility as far as learning how to do them. On a more positive side, a lighter side, is the story of the Nataraj. The Nataraj, also another story about Shiva. This time Shiva reincarnated as a dancer. Natara means dancer, Raj is royal. So he's a royal dancer, the king of dancers. There's a little bronze statue of him right here on the ledge. You can't see it right now, but look at it later on. If the statue or paintings are correct, Shiva, or the Nataraj, is standing on a little imp, looks like a little man. The little man represents ignorance, and so Shiva, as the dancer, dances upon ignorance, as he's doing several different renditions of the Natarajasana, the dancer's pose. The dance of Shiva is really said to liberate us from fear and from change. And the Nataraj teaches us to ride the wave of change into true freedom. And truly, and that was one of the inspirations for the name of our group, the Samadhi Dancers. And then finally, I'll tell you a story about Chandra, Ardha Chandrasana in particular, the half moon pose. So this pose really requires a lot of balance, a lot of attention. And there's a lot of stories about Ganesha and Chandra, but this is probably one of my favorite. So Chandra means moon, Ardha means half in Sanskrit, and asana means seat or pose. So one story goes that one day Ganesha's the little elephant that you see. Here we have a statue that I brought back from India with me. And like most elephants, he's got a nice big belly, and it's said that he really, really loves to eat sweets. In fact, if the statue or the painting is correct, he always has a bowl of sweets. It's called prasad in India, which is blessed food, blessed sweets. Always has a bowl of prasad in one hand, a broken right tusk, and then as a belt, a cobra wrapped around his waist. So the story goes like this, that one day, oh, and then there's also a little mouse usually underneath him, or in front of him somewhere. So the story of Ganesha and the moon, and Ganesha, by the way, said to remove obstacles and create new beginnings. The story goes that one day, after stuffing himself with sweets, he decided that the sun was going down and it was starting to get dark, so he decided to go home. He was so full he couldn't walk, so he employed his trusty steed, the mouse, to take him home. So even that in itself, if you conjure up that vision, is sort of funny. You imagine this big elephant riding this little mouse home. So they're going along the road, and out in front of Ganesha and his steed, a cobra slithers by. The mouse gets terrified, petrified. He jumps one way. Of course, Ganesha falls the other way. As Ganesha falls to the ground, his stomach splits open, and all of the sweets, all of the prasad tumbles out. He's very, very angry. Meanwhile, up above, Chandra, the moon, is laughing hysterically, because imagine the sight, right, of all of this. Ganesha gets so infuriated, he stands up, grabs the prasada sweets, stuffs them back in his belly, grabs the snake, ties the snake around to hold it all in, breaks off his right tusk, and hurls it at the moon. And the moonlight goes out. And moonlight is lost. We're stuck in eternal sunshine, which might sound like a good thing, but the story also goes that at that point, so here's half moon, that love was lost at the same time because lovers had no place to meet in the dark moonlight. And so after a time, the gods pleaded with Ganesha, please, please, bring back Chandra, bring back the moonlight. And because he was so impressed with himself for doing this in the first place and then having the gods plead with him, he said, all right, I'll do it, but only under one condition, that Chandra can only come to full fruition once every 28 days. And so that we have the waxing and the waning of the moon. So our dance tonight depicts our interpretation of autumn changes. You have a program with, the dances are called Changing Leaves, Falling Leaves, and Gathering Leaves. And this is what we feel when we dance it. And it's our hope that it's what you feel when you observe it. And so now, without further ado, I give you the Samadhi Dancers and Anthony Sarah. I'd like to introduce you to the dancers. This is Shauna and Erica and Lucy, and Jill and Stacy and baby Sarah, and Anthony Sarah on guitar. We sampled just a couple things. She only let us sample a couple things. Sanaz, with Ula Ra. It's raw vegan food. It's really, really yummy. So please enjoy that. If you liked what you saw tonight as far as the movement goes, and you're interested in learning more, maybe dancing and just getting into some movement like this, and we do have a workshop on January 14th. I think there's a flyer. I think it's back there on the first set of cutties there. So thank you very much to Sanaz and to the dancers and to all of you for being here. If you haven't been here before, please come take a yoga class. Enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you. Bravo.
Nice job, Anthony. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.